Good evening YouTube, my name's Sean Connors and welcome back to Outsiders, and tonight we're going to be carrying on with our AV series. This is Av7.3, where we left off a week or so ago. We discussed dungeons and other unstructured adventures. This week we're going to be talking about common structures, what they are, what do they mean, and above all else, how do you use them. Now, when I say common structures, some of these things are actually going to be pretty unique to a lot of people, or they're things that they do but didn't realise it. So, and hopefully this is a way to show it, and there's several parts of this that I think are pretty unique. So we'll see what you make of it. You're the GMs, you'll be the judge. But the first part is straightforward enough. So there are several ways to structure an adventure. You can either pick a single structure that best suits your overall style of play and stick to it, or one that best matches the content of the adventure at hand. I've also found that depending on the time constraints, certain structures suit those time constraints better, as you will see as this series unfolds. So for tonight's mini-episode, we're going to be looking at episodic or episode style of common structures. An episodic adventure consists of a number of scenes which are slimly connected to one another, if at all. The best example of an episodic adventure is a journey from one point to another, where the PCs are confronted by a series of unusual, dangerous and challenging situations along the way. Though these encounters may be related by mood or theme, the scenes exist independently of one another. The group's success or failure in an early episode has no direct bearing on what happens in the later ones. The episodic structure provides a good compromise between dungeon and narrative style of play. The players don't get to arbitrarily choose which encounter occur. Instead, they systematically enter each of your predetermined scenes in the order you specify. So you've got complete control. But they don't have to master a complicated series of clues and can flee from a failed encounter without any worrying about any long-term consequences. You can even skip an encounter entirely if you choose to do so, without having any effect on the component parts, and players probably won't even know. The structure may appeal to you if your main interest as a GM is in world building. The adventurers become tourists in your setting. Each of the encounters underlines an interesting or exotic fact about your world. You can move them around all over the place effectively. Episodic adventures lend themselves well to a light tone, either sort of a light humour or a fantasy and wonder style game. They may make for a very nice change of pace between more intense scenarios, and it's particularly used by people who understand the yin and the yang and the movement and the theme and the movement within a game and how it has to ebb and flow. It's very important to understand that, and obviously episodic is a very good one to put in and break into a story if you've got one. These episodic adventures have such simple structures that you barely need to diagram them at all. And I won't insult your intelligences, and I mean that really liberally here, because I don't mean to be patronising by putting up a simple episodic chart, so we won't do that. But what we will do is just think about it in terms of very simple structures. So let me give you an example off the top of my head. So it'd be something along the lines of they're outside a town called Bolterton. They want to go to the Dancing Spirits, which is an inn. As they are approaching it, near a place called Quimsey's, they hear someone drowning. They go and investigate. It's this woman. She tells them about something that occurred in the dark wood about some cult of spider worshippers, and it just leads on. It's just a very simple episodic story. Each little piece leads to the next, but it can still feel like a story, and that's the point of them. Naturally, episodic structures appeal naturally to method actors who can behave as outrageously as they like in each sequence without fear of lasting consequences. It really suits them. They also please the power gamers, the butt kickers and casual gamers, all of whom appreciate their simplicity. Storytellers may be disappointed by the lack of connections between the scenes and the absence of lasting consequences or reoccurring characters, and that's certainly something to bear in mind should you choose to use that style of play. Now, for me as an experienced GM, and that really covers episodic style of storytelling, for me as a GM, I do use it from time to time, yes, and I do find it lends itself well to different things. If you think about it, one of the ways to visualise episodic stories is to think about it in terms of very simple, films, or more precisely, regular series that occur on the TV. So a good example might be the original Star Trek series. Each of the stories is independent pretty much of the other. Occasionally there are little tentative links. That pretty much encompasses a sort of an episode. Little things that happen in a predetermined order and that's the episode. That's the way I would best look at it if I was trying to describe or think about it. Anyway, that's the first part of Common Structures. The easy bit is over with. Next we move on to some of my favourite pieces. So I've been Sean Connors. This has been Outsiders. Take care of yourselves and happy gaming. Until the next time. Bye bye.